All right, everyone. Welcome to TerrorCrave. Appreciate you guys coming back. We've got an exciting episode ready for you as always. What's up, Jason? How are you doing today?
I'm great, man. It's rumbling thunder pretty good out there. I just heard. So, we may if we come back in a different shirt or, different hat or something because the power went out. So
It's same up this way, man. We just have a thunderstorm come rolling through. But what better time to discuss the eerie goings on as we do during this show during a nice thunderstorm, man. I'll tell you what, I do love a good thunderstorm,
I do.
especially putting on a good, it's just a good time to just be inside, relax, put on a good flick, specifically
Sure.
maybe a horror one, kick
Sure.
back and relax.
My dog is frightfully terrified of thunder. Like he
Mm.
has to come up and get like right beside my leg, and he just pants real hard during the thunderstorms. And it's like, come on, Henry, go away, man. But the whole time he's just panting real hard and like leaning up against me wherever I go. So if he'll be against my door if it does start thunderstorm. So
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be on the lookout. We'll be listening for Henry to make an appearance. This might be his first appearance on the show.
maybe so. He's scary. He's pretty scary.
Well, again, what better way to do it? Dude, last time we were here, we talked about Stranger Things. Uh, you let me go on and on about hypothetical. I was so sure Matthew Modine was Vecna. And
You didn't think I was going to ruin it for you, did you?
no, I guess not. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. But I was totally off on that. If I had just waited, I got, we talked about episode 1 through 4 last time we were here, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, if I had just waited, because episode 5, within the first 3 or 4 minutes, you see Matthew Modine's character, Dr. Brenner, pop up again. And I was like, my goodness. And I think I watched it right after I recorded the show. I was
Yeah.
like, you big dummy Lee.
Yeah. No, I think that fooled you. I think it fooled a lot of people, actually. Um, did you know that who Vector was though? Other
Um,
than that, I mean, did you figure it out pretty quick afterwards, or I had it pegged who it was? I knew it was the guy from the place where Eleven was when she was a kid. I knew it was that guy.
you did.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta admit, and that's what's it's my fault for taking so long to uh watch the show. It took me a bit. I didn't burn through it in a couple of days like I should have. So I stumbled upon. And I didn't read it. I didn't see anything, but I stumbled upon some headline that said Henry Creel is, or not Henry. Yeah, Henry, the son is
Yeah.
number 1, and it was the orderly,
Yeah.
right? So I kind of already knew. I didn't peg it. I was off, obviously. 4 episodes in, I'm thinking Matthew Modine's character, Dr. Brenner's Vecta. But had he been introduced by that point either, the orderly? Or was he introduced in episode 5? I think he was introduced in episode 5
I think you
because
may
that's
have
when
seen
11
him like come in. Yeah.
starts. That's when she starts to. So there, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better than that I didn't pin it on Dr. Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy didn't make his appearance. I still didn't think it was Vecna. I didn't. It fooled me. I was, and I'm just never really fooled, but this time I was. I didn't see that one coming at all. When did
Well,
you realize it was him? I guess.
I kind of pegged it right from the beginning. Like as soon as I saw him, as soon as I saw number 1, I said, "Oh, it's him." Now I did not know that he was Victor's son. That one threw me out. That was a good one. That
Yeah.
one got me.
Okay. Yeah. See, that one was a little spoiled for me. That I still didn't piece it together that it was Vecna, but I knew that it was Henry. Coming, episode right before the last episode. I think somehow I was just innocently scrolling through Facebook and see that guy's picture plastered somewhere that said something about, just I was like, oh, quickly
Yeah, you
spoiled.
can't go on social media at all if you know what I mean. It's just by the next day the whole season is out there.
Yeah,
All
dude.
the spoilers are out there. So and it's hard. It's anything. You could just get a notification and look at it like, damn, caught me slipping.
Yep. Or yeah. Or you know what? It was actually, I take that back. I was innocently reading an article about Robert England being in the show. That's what it was. And then, it was almost to the end of it, and then it comes out and it mentions that Henry Creel is the big bad of the season. That's how it was spoiled for me. So that is how that it all came out. But I did not still pick out the Henry, even watching that, knowing that Henry Creel was somehow going to be Vecna. I did not pick out that dude as being Henry Creel until it was starting to tell the story.
So what do you think? Was it a good cliffhanger? Or are you ready for July 1st?
It was a great cliffhanger. I'm ready for July 1st. It was a great cliffhanger. I thought this season was great. I raved about episode 4. I thought episode 4 was fantastic. And like I said, I guarantee that will be nominated for an Emmy. I know it will. We'll come back and revisit that when the Emmy nominations are announced here.
You like the scene with the shootout. That's what you're talking about, the way that they shot that.
That was fantastic. That was well done. I mean, but episode 4 just stood out as a whole, because that was also the episode, and I don't agree with this being the best scene of Stranger Things, but you see in social media and everywhere on TikTok, and all these fans are saying the Max scene, it was really well written and stuff like that. I thought the whole episode was well written. You know what I mean? But I don't think that was the best scene of Stranger Things ever, with the whole, her running out and thinking of the good times and listening to the Running Up the Hill song, which is a banger now, as I said previously in the last episode.
I still think it's the duet, the Never Ending Story duet. I think, to me, that's just like the best. I love that. I think that
was great. That was great. I like how they even referenced it again, and he said part of it. You know what I mean? Will did. In this season. No, I think I think it's great. Like I said, the big mystery, that was cool. There's usually, I don't know, is there like really ever a mystery like that, trying to figure out who done it, or who's the big bad, or you know what I mean, who is the bad guy behind it? Or is it we just know it's the big creature? You know what I mean? So this one was nice, a little different, I think.
You got to give them props. There's a lot of CG going on there, so for them to act that way, I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah. And they had to do, I don't know if you've noticed this, there were some scenes where it is somewhat noticeable. You could tell that, because part of this with Stranger Things was filmed during pre-pandemic.
Yes.
And then they had to break up, but wasn't released. So I think even that teaser with Hopper being on the chain gang, wasn't that like
they showed that at the end of the last season, didn't they?
No. That was a teaser released maybe like a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago.
Okay, I got you. They just said something about the American at the end of season 3, so I got you.
They just left him. They said, he was going to get a prisoner out, and not the American. But
I know which trailer you're talking about, though. I remember that.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, the trailer. But these kids, you could note they're noticeably older from scene to scene in some areas.
Yeah, well, they're going from like 15 to 18 throughout this time in real life, right? I mean, it was a few years, so
so
a lot happens.
Yep, and from scene to scene, you can definitely tell, you know what I mean, which is different, a little bit different for a series, a 9-episode series, to see the age differences look so crazy. But so that was something they had to go through. But I do think chapter 4 is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. I look forward to the next 2 episodes, which really, in reality, is like 4 more episodes with the time frame.
Because it's like 4 hours,
2.5 hours. Yeah, exactly.
It'll be
good. A lot. I will say I am tired of, and I just can't wait. I'm a little surprised that they've been in Russia the whole season. I honestly didn't see that coming. I thought when they were going to go over there and get him, I thought episode 4, when he had escaped, I thought we were nearing the end of that whole thing. I am kind of tired of the Russian storyline, to be honest with you. I'm done with that. So I'm really eager to see them get out of Russia.
I am too. I wonder if that'll play back in towards the end of the season, though, with the Russians, since they are trying to get into the Upside Down. I don't know. I don't think we're done with the Russians yet.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm tired of them being in. I need Hopper and Joyce and those guys to get out of Russia and go into a different storyline in America somewhere or anywhere else. I'm just tired of being in the Russian prison. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
I think that'll probably happen in the next episode, like pretty close to the beginning, just because they gotta at some point they have to all get back together, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too. Now, switching gears a little bit, do you think that Steve is going to have something go down? I mean, the fact that he was bitten by those creatures, I mean, I think that's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? I don't think that's
Yeah,
just going to happen and not be revisited. I think that's a plot point that's going to lead somewhere.
I'd almost forgotten that. I think something's going to go on there. I mean, these things, it's got to be some kind of venom or some kind of, it's going to get infected. And I don't know, maybe he'll almost die and maybe he will die. Who knows?
I don't know, but it's going to be, like I said, it's going to, I don't think we're done. I don't think all that happened just to be forgotten. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see. Will he die? I don't know.
I don't know. They're building it up for him and what's her name to get back together.
Nancy.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
We didn't even get any of the Byers boys and Mike and Argyle at the last episode of the season. You know, they went and talked to old girl,
Dustin's
girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she helped him out. And that was it. I was like, come on, we don't even get any of these guys at all. So we didn't revisit them at all. So
I think some people were upset that they didn't have as much as the original 4 boys and 11, you know, in this season. I think a lot of it went to Hopper and, you know, the whole Russian scenes that you were talking about. A lot of it was concentrating on that. So,
and I like Hopper. I'm not, disputing. I don't want to see. It's not like I don't want to see storylines with him and Joyce and whatever. I'm just done with the Russian piece of it. You know what I mean? The Russian storyline.
Yeah.
That's all. Get out of that prison.
Yeah, I think it was concentrated. The reason everybody liked it was the original gang. It was kind of that Goonies feel, but they did say they were stepping away from that Goonies feel to get it more of the, you know. So they're getting older.
And the next season, I think we're even going to get really hasn't been a lot of time jumps within Stranger Things. They did, I think the longest one, maybe I'm wrong about this, the longest one has been the year. Which happened technically between season 3 and 4, with California. Maybe 6 months. I don't know.
I think it was only 6 months. 6 months.
Okay, so that really wasn't that big of a time jump either. But I guess there's going to be a major time jump, from what I understand, between seasons 4 and 5.
I think they almost have to because the kids are growing. They're going to make it so they're going off to college or something now, and they'll be upset because one's going here and one's going there, and they're not going to talk anymore. And I hope they don't use that. That's used so many times.
Well, they already kind of did it this season, if you think about it, with Will's reaction with Mike. You know what I mean? And how they.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they're not good.
Will
they got that out the way.
Will was all moping around behind them at the skating rink, and just wasn't having a good time, all that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they'll revisit it again.
Do you think
these guys, the Duffer Brothers and Sean Levy, are too great? They're too good.
Do you think Will's gay? That's one of the theories.
I think that is the theory, and I think that's probably where it's going. I think
maybe it could just be that his best friend doesn't really talk to him anymore. He talks to this, this girl, the girlfriend or whatever now, 11, more than he does to him. So I think maybe Will's just a little resentful. I don't know. I don't think it means that he's gay. But
they also had that same thing go on season 3 with Will. You know what I mean? Everybody was kind of moving on and getting their girlfriends. Mike was spending a lot of time with 11. In season 3, that happened, and
he just hadn't gone through puberty.
Lucas and Max were had a relationship, and Will was filming. That was storyline of season 3. Will was feeling a little left out. Sure. Dustin was doing his thing. And now they're kind of still revisiting it again. It's almost like, and Will was a little bummed about all that stuff. I think it's almost like, and if they do it, it's a gay storyline, then I think it's Will probably being in love with Mike, is what I think they're saying.
I can see that. I can see why people think, and it may be, we'll know is when we see the drawing or the painting that he did.
I was about to bring that up. Yep. Was that for Mike?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
know that. He didn't say who it was for.
Oh no, it was for Mike. It's for Mike. The painting is for Mike.
Oh, well.
And it's either going to be if it's a picture of Will and Mike together, well, we'll probably know if it's 11 and Mike or just a painting of 11. Then, we'll know. Maybe he's gay, but he doesn't have a thing for Mike, and it's just a friendship thing.
When did they say that was for?
I thought it was right in one of the first episodes when Mike was going to be coming out there.
Well, I thought 11 asked who it was for. He didn't say.
See, now I got to go back and watch it. I'm
She
almost positive
wrote
that
she wrote in her letter that Will keeps working on a project, but he won't let her see it. He won't tell her who it's for, or something like that. In the letter. See, I remember that. And maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, it'll be. I don't know where they're going to go with that.
Yeah.
Because they already have the one. Not that they need to. Not they can only have one, but they already have the one character. Oh my gosh, Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter, which is a welcome addition to the show. She's fantastic. I like.
Oh yeah. You talk. Hang on it. I can't remember her name.
She's great. It's not Max. It's not Max. It is. Come on now. Oh, Maya Hawke. Maya Hawke. Oh, but that's her. That's the actress's name. What is the character's name? Robin.
All right. Robin. Yeah, I knew that. You didn't know that? Robin. Steve and Robin. They work together.
They do work together. Yeah. No, so it's great. Comes out we have 2 weeks from tomorrow, I believe, before the next before they drop, and that's going to be great stuff. Netflix, is, I think or maybe it's just seems to be a lot of good shows coming out. I know we've talked about this before. We've got Stranger Things, and then the Umbrella Academy. That's dropping here also within the next 2 or 3 weeks. They're just pumping it out. They got a lot of stuff going. A lot of good originals coming back.
Did they say when Lock and Key is coming? I know
August.
August. Okay. I like that show.
And then that'll be its final season. So yeah, that's another one. They got a lot of good originals, I think, coming out here in the next few months.
That's a show too that I thought was going to be kind of like a kids adventure type thing, but there's some scary things that go on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, so. I think so. Well, like I said, I guess we talked about it last times. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. That's Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, who writes the graphic novel this show's based on.
Yeah. Speaking of Stephen King, so I saw an announcement about Christine 2.
Yes.
And then you brought up to me what it said at the bottom of that post.
Yes. So it did. So like I said, it just seemed confusing to me because it seemed I don't think there's a Christine 2. I feel like I would have heard about it. And the whole thing says remake based on Stephen King's 80s seminal thriller or something like that, whatever it said.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and then it says Christine 2.
Yeah.
Which is like, unless Christine 2, the sequel that came out that no one remembers, was this 80s classic, then the poster makes no sense.
Yeah. So, hey, speaking of Christine, real quick, last night I watched the old movie from 74, I think it was called Deranged. And it's one of those old classic horror movies, but it's kind of funny because it's based on Ed Gein.
Huh.
So this movie probably came out around the same time as the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When did that come out? I can't remember if that was 74.
I believe it was 74.
All right. So this one is, it talks about the first thing you see is this guy come out almost like a reporter or a detective or something. And he's talking like the intro voice on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The story you are about to see is true. And this and that. And then he says, we've changed, some of the names have been changed to protect the identities of blah, blah, blah. So it did it was good. It's a good old scary movie. It has, what's his name? Roberts Blossom, who is he's the old man that sells the car, Christine.
Oh, okay.
And he was in Home Alone, as the scary guy putting, he was actually a good guy putting salt on the sidewalk so people wouldn't fall. Damn kids.
Okay.
But excuse me. So anyway, it's him starring as Ezra, not Ed Gein, Ezra something else, a 4-letter last name. So not Ed Gein, Ezra, and but they called him Ez because I was like, are they saying Ez? Is that what they're calling? This is a movie you would have seen like on Channel 20 when you were a kid, Trilogy of Terror, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it did have, they went a little bit crazy with the storyline of the people that he killed or dug up or whatever. Some of it was, when it got to the end, I said, okay, well, they're back on line with what really happened when because he got caught. He killed a woman that worked at the hardware store. That was his final victim. He killed her, shot her, and killed her right there. He actually used one of the rifles that was for sale and shot her. And then he took her back to the house and he had her strung up like you would like you're dressing a deer. You got to hang him by the legs and all that. And in this one, they actually were like, oh, the last person here was Ez. Oh, Ez wouldn't do it. And they went out after him. And, when they got there, he's at the kitchen table, like, all crazy laughing, which he wasn't. He was just doing his regular thing, the real Ed Gein. But the only problem with that one was he didn't actually kill her. And he was taking her down the road in his pickup truck, and she kind of like jumped out of the truck. He went after her and he shot her again, killed her, took her to the house. In the real one, he killed her there at the hardware store in real life. Ed Gein killed her at the hardware store. And the only reason they found him, they found a receipt. He didn't take his receipt for antifreeze that he was buying. Ed Gein. And they're like, well, this is the last one. Let's just go check with old Ed. Because everybody thought Ed was a little bit weird, a little bit off anyway. But in this one, he was really off. But they did like bring some of the true events in, like somebody he knew. He was like, yeah, it'd be easy to kidnap somebody and kill them. And he said, well, what would you do with them? He said, I don't know, maybe eat them. And the guy's like, oh, Ed, you're just crazy. And they had some of that in this movie. It's called Deranged. It's from 1974, Robert's Blossom. Now let me jump all the way back to Stephen King. That's what made me think of it. Gracious.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, no, that's good. So, So he played in Home Alone. I mean, we went to a whole nice little thing there, right there. You know what I mean? We went from the Christine to Home Alone. But yeah, Christine. Did you like Christine?
I did. I loved that movie, man. And it may have been the first, which I think I've told you this before. It may have been my first Stephen King book report.
Oh yeah.
Because I had seen Christine, the movie, and then somebody told me that, oh yeah, that's a Stephen King book. Because if you look, it doesn't mention Stephen King except down in the bottom that he wrote the book on like the poster and all that. It says John Carpenter's Christine. So I thought it was John Carpenter, but then somebody mentioned Stephen King. Well, he wrote the book, and I'm like, oh, well, I've seen the movie. I'll do a book report and say I read the book. And that I did that with several Stephen King novels, several, until a teacher caught me because she read the books too. And some of the things that she knew, I didn't know when she asked me.
Was it The Shining when they talked about the big maze? Did you in the book report, you're talking about the big maze there? Because that's in the movie.
But in the
book, it's the topiary, the lions, the bushes that are made of an animal or they're cut into animals.
Yeah. It wasn't that The Shining, actually. It was Pet Sematary. And it was something about Judd, who lived across the street. It was something about his wife from the book. And I was like, oh yeah, she was, she wasn't even in the movie. Nothing, right. You never really heard anything about her. But in the book, you knew who she was and knew things about her. I didn't, because I didn't read it.
Was. And
that's when I got caught.
That's where it fell apart.
Yeah. And we could have gone back around to the monsters after that one, but there's no new updates on the monsters though that I've heard.
No, not
so other than last week, the little teaser trailer.
Yep, which we discussed. Yep, that's true.
Yeah. What's your favorite Stephen King movie?
Oh wow. I guess I would have to say The Shining.
The Shining?
I would have to say so because unfortunately there hasn't been. I mean, the only really good. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah,
Shining being one of them. Even though Stephen King, we talked about this before, he did not like that movie, even though
yeah.
it's one of the scariest movies in my opinion. But then he talked to somebody like my son who's coming up right now, and he's like, he hasn't watched it, but he's seen when he thinks through all the scary parts in it, and he's like, that movie doesn't look scary to me. So maybe this new youth don't out there don't think it's. I think it's one of the scariest movies. I really still do. I remember when I watched it in the middle of the day. Uh, I was 15
In
at
the
this
middle of the
point.
day.
Oh my god, I watched it in the middle of the day. Me and my
Yeah.
friend Woody, and we watched it in the middle of the day. Scared me to death. I remember like, oh my god, when he was red rum,
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. It shook me out. You know what I mean? It really did. And I was, like I said, I was pretty old at that point, or what I thought was pretty old, 15 years old, watching it in the middle of the day. I say again because it still scared me to death.
I have a hard time if I had to name. There's so many of them, man, and
But
some of them are like horror. Some of them are just like kind of twisted stuff. Some are like
see, here's the thing.
psychological.
See, here's the thing that I was getting at in my long-winded way is to say that it's to me it's almost easy to do because there's very few of his movies that have been really good, in my opinion. You have to go really outside of the horror genre to find the really good Stephen movies like Shawshank Redemption
Shawshank
or
Redemption,
The Green Mile. You know what I mean? Or
or
Stand By Me.
yeah, Stand By Me. Yeah,
So those are, movies. Because if you look at, I mean, Graveyard Shift or The Mangler
that's
or,
true. That's true. But you have
you
like,
know,
well, I guess you put Misery in with that one list.
yes, but I still think that's a terrible horror movie. I mean, still to me, being held hostage in this house, I put that back in the horror genre as opposed to outside of that. Which I guess you could technically say any type of prison movie is too pretty
Yeah,
horrific.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Being in prison, especially if you're innocent.
See, I have to break mine into like thriller and horror just because like what Jen thinks is real scary, and I'm like, well, I want to watch it, and it's just a thriller. It's not really a horror movie, but like I mean, you have Pet Cemetery. I love that movie. I just watched with my youngest son Ethan. We watched Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet is a classic. I saw that one too
Yeah,
as a kid. That I thought was great. I watched that one probably at least the majority of it back in the fall. We might have even discussed it. And when AMC's running all those horror movies, I actually did watch a little bit of the, hey, Gary Busey,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. So that was good. Yeah, I mean he's got some good ones, but in my opinion, the majority of the ones that come out in the theater have been in this that are specifically in the horror genre have been clunkers. I mean, I could go on,
Cat's
man.
Eye.
Cat's Eye, yeah,
What about
but
Children of the Corn?
Children of the Corn. That was good. I think that is right for a. I think, and no, it was that I saw that as a kid too. On a Friday night, I remember when I saw it. So, my aunt, they all just come down from North Carolina or come up from North Carolina. You come up from North Carolina. They were adults were doing their thing. My uncle had brought these movies, and we put it on as kids on a Friday, and it was like, whoa, man. So yes, Linda Hamilton. That was her. That was maybe it come out the same year as Terminator. I'm not sure. I think that did for her.
Maybe.
But I mean, so that's right for a remake. I think that one's, and they did do a remake on Sci-Fi Channel a couple years ago, which was
Yes.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But then that one, of course, petered out because the sequels got worse and worse and worse as they go on. Which I know
Well,
nothing to do with Stephen King. But let's go back. Let's go back to the movies. You said Cat's Eye. All right, that was a good anthology. And that wasn't really besides the little creature that was trying to take the girl's breath. I mean,
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore, yes.
Yep.
That was. I'm trying to think. Was there a horror? I mean, yeah, the dude had to walk around.
No, probably not.
Had to walk
Probably
around
not.
the building, which is still
Yeah,
horrific. I don't want it to happen to me.
I'm scared of heights. That
Yeah, me too. So it's still horrific. Don't get me wrong, but what was
better
what was the
or
other one? Oh, the smoking.
creep.
The
Yeah.
smoking. I'm trying to think of the different stories they told.
The three
Cat's
that they
Eye.
had.
James Woods he was like he was trying to quit smoking, and then now people were everywhere.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
Every
mean? When he
Breath
was
You Take
trying
by the
to,
Police was a theme song.
yeah,
Yeah, that was back when you didn't hear like popular music a lot in the movies too. So
right, yeah. So hey, so the Cat's Eye was good, but they weren't still. I mean,
so
those are like Twilight Zone-ish.
Cat's Eye or Creep Show?
Creep
Which one's
Show
better?
is different because I don't consider that Stephen King. They weren't all written by Stephen King. I don't think they were all written by Stephen King.
Um,
You know what I mean? I think that he
maybe
wrote.
not. Maybe
I
not.
think he, um, George Romero. I know wrote some. I know he
Mm-hmm.
directed too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think every story from was from Stephen King, so I don't really count that as a. I know he acted in that as well. Like The Crate, I don't think is a Stephen King
No, that's oh
movie
man.
story.
Dang on, I knew who that was. I can't remember now, but another horror writer though that you
Okay,
would know if I could think of the name. But no,
not Clive Barker.
um, maybe not. Well, it's one like that. It's dang on, I can't think of his name.
Not Dean Koontz.
I
No,
like Dean Koontz too.
yeah, he's somebody. Let's who really, in my opinion, I've seen a couple. You know, I'm surprised people haven't mind more of his
Yeah,
output in
yeah,
stories. You know what I mean? And seen
agreed.
more movies made out of it. I've seen a few that he's done. That I said Dean Koontz is so and so.
Yeah, he
Not a
wasn't as
lot.
popular as Stephen King, but he had good books, man.
He did have
They
some
were they
good
were
books.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, there's another one that I actually would watch with my dog Henry, bringing him back up again. Cujo.
Cujo was good. And I actually watched that over last summer. So I
Yeah,
watched that pretty recently, and that movie sticks out to me because that was one of the movies that I watched when my dad passed away. We sat down in the bed. I think this is where my love of movies came from. I might have talked about this before. When my dad passed away, we kids spent a lot of time in the basement that week. Well, when family was upstairs,
sure.
coming over and stuff like that. And my uncle, he was the guy who I've talked about before, who had movies and all that stuff. I remember he brought the VHS and set it up for us down there. And I think I thought where my love of movies actually came from is that we watched a lot of movies that,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, down there while the adults were upstairs doing, taking care of all the stuff. Not to bring anybody down on this show, but that's the Cujo. I did see that was how I saw. That's when I saw Cujo. Was during that time. You know what I mean?
that's a good one. I like Cujo. It's
It is good.
intense at
It is.
moments.
It is good.
If that boy would just shut the hell up, the dog probably would have left him alone, man. He just screamed the whole
I watched
time.
that with my kids and my nephew actually last summer. Yeah, it was good, but that was it. They changed it. In the book, it's a German Shepherd, and
Right.
so in the movie, it was a Saint Bernard. I guess to make it a little more ferocious.
Yeah.
And it didn't work
Well,
out.
the bigger the dog, the scarier they are, especially the way they made him up to look.
Yeah,
And how
exactly.
would you fight that thing off? You know?
A broken baseball bat, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I think
that's
if
that's
I
saved D
had,
Wallace Stone.
well, yeah, I think if I had to pick one out of all of them, and some people are gonna say he's crazy, I can't believe me, but I like the remake of it
Yes.
just because I love Tim Curry and I loved that one when it came out on TV. It was like a little mini series on TV, and it was good and it was scary, and I think that's where the fear of clowns came from, honestly, from that Pennywise. But I think with the new Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård one, oh my gosh, man, that thing was scary, and it was more along of what the book actually was.
Yes. The original was a miniseries, and so I need to actually say too that and the miniseries I thought were really well done.
Yeah,
Anytime, because Stephen King, some of the reasons some of his movies don't work, better than the horror genre specifically, is that they usually run anywhere between 90 minutes. They try to at least they're trying to keep it that, and you can't truncate, you can't take all his books and leave
yeah.
out so many pieces puzzle without it making it work. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I digress. I just had to say that real quick. So do you hold it and it too in the same esteem?
Yeah.
regard?
Yeah,
You
I think
do?
you have to. I think you have to really, because even back when the miniseries was, you had when they were younger and when they were older and came back, and the mixture of the two. I liked, I liked how they did that. I think the other one was a mixture. They showed them when they were older, and it went back like flashbacks.
Well, that's
About
how the book was told. That's how the
yeah,
actual book was done. You know what I mean? As well, where it was told like it was told
yeah,
like that. You
intertwined
know?
with it.
Yeah.
No, I
Which
like that.
I understand why they did it for the movie. I think they separated it like this for the movie, and I think it made sense. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And they still do have flashbacks even within part two of them as children. You know
yeah, a
what I mean?
few, and you could tell the kids were a little bit older too, but
Yeah.
most of it was after what happened anyway when they were kids. That's so it
Yeah.
made sense they looked a little bit older, not like Stranger Things older,
Right.
but
Right.
within a year or so.
Well, the perplexing thing is that part one was a huge hit. I mean,
Yeah,
domestically, I think it
and
made
I didn't even want to
300 and
see it.
some.
I was so mad. I didn't even want to
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, it was huge. I think domestically it made like 300 and some $1 million,
Mhm.
maybe even close to 400 million. It was huge. Again, I can't stress that enough. And that's really kind of what kicked off this whole Stephen King renaissance. It was
Yeah,
actually that around that same time frame we had the Mist TV show that
Under the
ran.
Dome.
Under the Dome was out, so that had already kind of started. And the Mist TV show, I thought that was pretty good actually too.
Yeah, I did
Uh,
too.
you know,
I thought that was better than the
but
movie.
yeah, and well, the movie I thought was good though too. I can't say it wasn't, but it was huge, like I said. Then it too came out, and it should have been as big of a hit, really. You know what I mean? Because the other one was a great reviews, audience loved it, but yet part two came out and didn't do as well as it only
Yeah.
made almost half the money as part one did, which is interesting to me. I'm kind of surprised that
Well, I wonder if that had anything to do with Stranger Things.
no, because Stranger Things was out
I mean, like
before
when
the very
I
first It came out.
yeah, I love how Stranger Things took place like when you and I were that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they
Oh,
moved
you're
it
saying
to
did
the
it?
80s too. You know what I mean? So
I see what you're saying. You're saying did the first? I thought you were saying
did
I don't
Stranger
know what
Things help it?
help it, not hinder part two.
Right.
Did Stranger Things in the '80s theme that was going on with
Mm-hmm.
it? All right, gotcha. Maybe
Maybe.
it might have been that whole outcry or that
Yeah.
love for the '80s and carrying over from a little bit from that. And it didn't hurt that they had what Finn Wolfhard,
Yeah.
um, the same guy who plays Mike, come over and play in Stranger Things, come over and play in it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, man, we could. I know we talked about this before, but I really want to go into a
I
dive and
know.
talk about the different Stephen King movies. You kind of did
We could
a
do
little bit
like 3 or 4 episodes just off that.
today.
There are so many
Yeah,
movies, man. So
yeah,
many.
there really is. There really is indeed. Well, I think what have we covered it all this week?
What about Night House? The Night House.
Ah, yes, The Night House. We both just watched that this week. It's
Mhm.
a relatively new film that came out just a few months ago.
That's
Uh,
on Max, HBO Max.
on HBO Max, came out in theaters, and it got really good reviews actually. It stars Rebecca Hall. Uh, I thought this movie, I really wanted to see it when it came out, and I remember thinking halfway through the film, I was enjoying it. I was interested to see where it was going. Then part of me started thinking, you know, this would be a good movie. This is a good movie. It's more of a as you just described, actually, you just used the term uh, thriller
Thriller.
horror. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I was thinking the term supernatural thriller.
Yeah. Yep. That's the
And
category I
then
put it in.
I was putting it in that though. It was more solidly in that category
Hmm.
until until they got the big reveal about the demon that
Yeah.
had followed her back. She had, in the story had been told where she had died. Um, you know, it turned. It took a
Yeah.
turn there at the end for me, which would actually raise up where I was still enjoying it, but it made it even better. That little twist there, that it wasn't Owen that she kept experiencing and feeling throughout the film and felt his presence. It
Yep.
was this demon you know what I mean, that had been chasing her, I guess, for years. Because what she died when she was like maybe early 20s, 18 years old or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You
because
know, her
she
heart
said that she
stopped
was
for a
with
few minutes.
somebody else or something at
Yeah,
that time,
and her heart stopped for some girlfriends, maybe,
yeah,
even. And her heart stopped for a few minutes. So this thing had been chasing her and been whispering into her husband's ear, trying to get him to kill her, and so he could have her back. But he was, I thought it was great. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought the twist was good. It took me by surprise. Had a little
I
bit of,
thought the neighbor was in on it for a while.
I actually did too for a little bit because I'm trying to speculate what's going to happen. My hypothesis was that he was the bad guy
Yep,
somehow. You know what I mean? And this
yep.
place, even when she found the bodies in the under the
Oh yeah, that was
at
crazy.
that new house that he was building,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when she found those bodies, I was like, oh, he's putting them there. The neighbor, played by Von D. Curtis Hall, Friendly Mel that was living
Yeah,
in the river. Uh, uh, yeah, so I thought that's where it was going to, but it wasn't. It didn't. It comes out it was just demon, and her husband had killed himself to
yeah,
to save her life, basically,
yep,
because he knew he couldn't fight it off too much longer, and it was just from killing her. It was good. I really
yeah.
enjoyed it, man. And it
I
had
I,
some
I
really
did.
good creepy scenes too, with the silhouettes and that they kept
Oh,
showing. You know
the
what I
way that like
mean?
the
Or
trim
the
on the wall matched the trim on.
yes,
Oh, that was awesome, and you could just see like the silhouette and it turned or whatever. That was good. Good
yeah,
writing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done, man. I liked it a lot, and the way it ended too was kind of like, it wasn't really a happy ending
No.
because he was going to be there. The
Yep.
nothing, as they called it. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Nothing is what they could.
Yeah. I
Mel
mean,
was
you could
looking
go
out at the
to a part
boat.
two off of
What's
that.
there? Yeah, he was like, "What's there?" He was like, "There's nothing there." I know. And then you
I
see
know.
those.
Yeah. 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 Well, Jen, my wife came in um uh, almost halfway through, and she just kind of sat down and was doing other stuff, but she was kind of watching too. And um the movie wasn't making sense to her, and I said, you missed a crucial part at the beginning where the lady said that she died for 4 minutes,
Yeah,
and how she described that, like you were just saying she saw nothing, or the nothingness or whatever. And when she would people would ask her, what did you see something? And she said, um no, I didn't see anything. There was nothing. I saw nothing. And everybody's just like, oh, okay, well, she didn't see anything, but that was a crucial thing to when you're getting to the end and the reveal of the demon, like you were saying. If you didn't see that or pay attention to that part, you would be thrown when it got back around to that part.
yeah, yeah. It was, Owen, not Owen. I was like, oh snap. You know what I mean? And then it got almost like entity-ish for a hot
Yeah.
second there. I don't know if you remember that movie. Um,
Well, it did. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that.
yeah.
Which wasn't
So
that the movie that there was another one just like it with a different name or something?
I don't know.
Or
The
similar.
entity was supposedly based on a true story too.
Yeah. There's another one that was, oh man, I can't remember, but they came out around the same time. You know how they do that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same theme or whatever. But I did have a question, like at the end, I'm like, is she gonna tell somebody about all them bodies that's over there under the
Mm,
floor? And
hmm.
because what do you do? Hey, I mean, her husband, she knows now that her husband was trying to save her life. He wasn't crazy. He wasn't, this and that. And
But he was killing other women
yeah,
too.
he was killing
He
other women.
was a murderer. You know what I
So
mean?
now
So
do you smear his name from, okay, well, he was a good guy, he committed suicide, so sad, to no, he was a murderer, and there's like
but he was only murdering
however many
people not to
bodies.
murder her. He was only murdering people so he wouldn't
Yeah,
murder
but
her,
she
basically.
can't tell anybody that.
I
Oh
know,
no,
I
he's just
know.
doing it for me. He's doing it for me.
No, that is a good question because he was not. She knows exactly what happened now. It's good. It is. That's why I like the movie. That's why I
Yeah,
like the movie because it didn't wrap everything up in some pretty bow here at the end, man. It leaves a lot of unanswered
yeah.
things that
I
are
think it
like,
would be a
whoa.
part two,
It could be, but
maybe
like I said,
straight
it
to
it the way it just
Amazon or something.
got better. And it was spooky as throughout. They kept playing that song, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, so many times that pop up through the show. Yeah, it was good. It was creepy throughout, but then the twist and turn and exactly what was happening was really grabbed me, and I would definitely recommend that
Hey,
movie.
how you just mentioned that how they were playing that song. I just it made me think of something when I was watching that movie Deranged I was talking about earlier. The song that was playing at one point, he went to church and they were playing that gospel, the old rugged cross. So when he was killing people, that song was like kind of playing in the, you know what I mean, in his
Yeah.
head or whatever. So now I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, if I ever go to church again and that song plays, all I'm gonna think about is I'm gonna be like Ed Gein. They're gonna be like, what?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness.
yeah, I probably won't
No.
do that though. My skin burns when I drive by a church, man.
Oh lordy, lordy, lordy.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't mean to say that either. I
Oh,
guess
see,
that probably burned you too.
yeah.
No. No. Well, no, we definitely recommend that film. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's really good. I definitely thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, it was definitely like I said, it has some very tense scenes and suspenseful scenes at sometimes, which definitely they did with the. Sometimes there was just no background music at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was just silence.
Yeah.
Just the suspense and the
Yeah.
tension.
Which
What's
is
going to happen
scary
next?
when there's
Yeah,
no sound. And
yeah,
yeah.
it is. So no, definitely check it out, guys. Definitely, I think we both recommend it. So good
Mm-hmm.
stuff there. Good stuff
Yeah.
there. Well, cool. I think that brings us to the end, my friend.
Yep. Yeah.
I think we've
I
said
think
it
that's
all.
all. I'm trying to find another series now to watch so we can talk about it. I started watching Hemlock Grove.
I've wanted to watch that. That was one of the original Netflix shows, um,
Yeah.
done by our boy.
It's not doing much for me, man.
Oh, you're not liking it? What's our boy's name? I thought you were gonna fill it in when I said that. It's what is his name? He wrote the Hostel film. Eli Roth.
Yeah, Eli Roth. Well, that's one
It's
of the
his
reasons
show.
that I
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah.
But I can't get into it. And it's got is that the one I'm watching with Bill Skarsgård, is it?
Yep, and Famke Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah. So
They're in it.
it's not bad, but maybe I'm waiting because sometimes the first few, you know what I mean, are a little bit slow. But
Right.
there's a couple of different seasons of that, like 2 or 3 seasons, right?
I think it ran 3 seasons. And
So
again,
it's got to be decent.
and this was one of the first Netflix originals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. So Bill Skarsgård is just like a rich spoiled kid. That's his character. And like his family has a lot of pull wherever this takes place. And some gypsies kind of move into town after a relative of theirs passes. But the gypsies, there's some killings going on and that people think it's some kind of animal. Well, the one gypsy guy can change into a wolf.
Mm.
And the transformation is awesome. So you need to watch it just for,
Oh.
You like a good transformation. Well, I don't know if you will or not, because it's pretty graphic.
Body horror-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he just
you know me.
changes into a wolf, but they know that there's another one around, but not sure who it is or whatever. So that's the mystery in this one. So I just need to give it more time. I'm not too impressed yet, but
Okay.
I like American Horror Story type stuff where it's gory right from the beginning.
Right. You like the gory stuff.
Yeah.
You like the Lily Taylor's in this movie or in that show as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we like her.
Oh yeah, that's Bill Skarsgård's cousin, which I think he has like some feelings for, which is a little bit
Okay.
weird because she ends up getting with the wolf guy, the gypsy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's all right.
All right. Well, cool, man. We'll have to definitely check that one out as well. Keep us abreast of it as you move along. Let us know if you continued or you just gave up, which is not a good sign.
Yeah.
Did we talk about All of Us Are Dead getting us? I think we already mentioned that.
I think we mentioned it last time. Yeah.
All right.
Which is very cool. Yeah.
Yep,
some good answers coming for that too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, all right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, we definitely appreciate it. Make sure you check us out wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcasts. Hit the like, subscribe button, share us, follow us, share us with your friends. As I said, we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Leave a comment that let us know what your favorite Stephen King movie was.
Yeah,
I'd like to see
that.
a lot of different.
Yeah. we'll continue that discussion on next week as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right, Jason, you have a good one, my friend.
You too, Lee. See you next time, man.
Yep. Later. Peace.